The 2,100 megawatts from Kusile will come in November, December rather, the last unit. We are entering a very difficult period of winter. I did say when I started, and I say at its worst, peak demand could be about 37,000 megawatts. But we can guarantee 27,000 megawatts if you look at the trend line. So the deficit is about 10,000 megawatts. If you continue at this kind of efficiency, so you can improve the efficiency and then also run your open cycle gas turbines and reduce the deficit to levels that are acceptable. And levels that are acceptable, I mean, it's relative, but at least as a basic minimum, don't go beyond, worst case scenario, don't go beyond stage 6. That I can guarantee you. No, I can't say that now because units keep on tripping. I made the point when I went to Matla just the other day, in the space of 45 minutes addressing management and the workers, 1,600 megawatts just went. Close to 2 stages of load shedding. That's the problem that's confronting us. And that's why you need to create that window to address this. And I did say at the conclusion that I shared with you the interventions on the fossil fuel side and the nuclear. I took time at the beginning to say, if you look at the integrated resource plan, because that's the Bible that guides, if you like, the distribution of various technology sources from the generation side, you'll see that the share of renewables is increasing exponentially. So if we are to be told today that this PV solar power project on a megawatt to megawatt basis, base load, will be able to answer the question, then direct us to where this is. And I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Just shared with you the profile of the energy mix. I said the renewables, they come in at 8:30 to 4:30. My peak is earlier than that in the morning and later than that in the evening. Direct us to where this solution exists. And when you do PV, you must pay it with battery, at least to attempt to give it the base load, or construct the pump stations, which in fact are most resilient than a battery. Battery gives you spend about 50 million rands per megawatt, pump storage 30 million per megawatt. Battery gives you a life of 20 years, pump storage gives us a life of 70 years. Pump storage also provides the other function of balancing the water resources. So at some point we must have an honest conversation about these technologies. It's not an average minister or some person who just doesn't know these technologies. No, we must be told the truth. Show me a country in the world that base load is supported by solar. It doesn't exist. But that does not mean that our commitment to decarbonization is undermined. I said when I started, it's in the interest of South Africa and her people and the economy. We'll make that case. If we are squashed, but we'll be able to illustrate in numbers. It's not a binary question. I keep on making, it's not fossil fuels or renewables, it's both. It's the pace with which you move, the extent to which you are able to replenish. I have told you that in the next 12 months or so, you could be taking out about close to 2,000 megawatts. Show me where are we going to retrieve it. The example of Komati, as I speak to you, the last unit was 100 megawatts that was taken out. In total, it was 1,000 megawatts. It's replaced by wind, solar, that combination. And then it guarantees you, at least at base load, I think it's about 170 megawatts or about 200 megawatts. So you remove 1,000 megawatts, you replace it with, let's use the high end, 250 megawatts. Tell me where's the math there? Is the interest of the country, South Africa, and her people. And that doesn't mean that we are committed. It's a decision of cabinet. Government has taken that decision. Our nationally determined contribution, our net zero path, is the pace with which you get there. That's the point that we are raising here. And then there's also an issue about, additional capacity. I've raised it. I mean, if we can get to be directed where these technology solutions from renewables, that gives you this base load. We'll be very happy to make that case in cabinet. And I did say that we are going to sit with the renewable energy complex developers to understand how best we can be able to address this situation going into the future. On the emissions issues, no, I'm not saying that we are going to. I presented 3 options. The first options, as I use the example of Kendall because that's where it's more pronounced, is that it's as-is conditions. Allow us to run the car at lower efficiencies because we don't want to contaminate the environment, and accept that there's very little you can do to protect the South African economy by reducing the higher levels of load shedding, and then protect the environment. That's the one option. The other option is to say, no, but the economy is under stress, significant strain. We're going to exceed these emissions levels, and then we save this, but you are going to damage the environment. And then you are outside the legal framework, and someone must be held accountable for that. There's a rule of law in this country. The third option is to do both. Accept that I have these obligations. I want to save the country now. Allow me, give me this exemption. I must illustrate that I'm going to take the following step in the short term, and in the long term, I'll be able to remain within the confines of those parameters. I'm saying that's where part of the options that are before us. I don't make a determination on exemptions. And the party that makes that determination is independent. I have no intention of influencing, but it's about laying what these facts are on the table for us to be able to attend to them.